Today we're going to get to go out on a ride on our MT09, even though it looks like it's going to rain part of the ride. We really don't care about that. The Michelin tires, they're just as good in the rain as they are when it's dry. And I refer to this MT09 as the Underdog. And by the way, welcome to Windy Videos. I'll explain about the Underdog thing later on in the video, but right now, if you're new to the channel, we do restorations, we go for rides, we love all bikes, old bikes, new bikes, expensive bikes, cheap bikes, bikes you have to restore and bikes you don't have to restore. We love them all. And if you decide you can watch this in 4K on your big screen TV, set your device or your TV to watch and enjoy it. Boy, it's been really hot the last couple of days, and I am going to try to get out of here nice and early, get back before lunch. It is really, really hot. We're not used to this hot up this part of the world. I'm not in Florida, I'm not in California. Up here we don't, hopefully only have a month or two of this, and I'll be back to wearing full leathers. So the morning routine when it's this hot is always get out on the open road as early as possible. And today we're doing it for two reasons. We want to try to beat some of the rain. And even though this time of year, if you get wet, it actually sometimes it feels good. I'm not a big fan of being hot. I get hot a lot quicker than I get cold. But anyway, getting the bike ready and checking the air and the tires always, wiping off the bugs, the grit, the grime from the day before or the week before, whenever the last time we rode the bike. I do like to ride a nice clean bike. I do like to feed the fish. I'm pretty religious about keeping my fish well fed. And they do me a good favor. They don't pull me into the pond and try to drown me if I don't feed them. But this is one of my little passions, having these fish now over 30 years. And of course, the MT09 Underdog, and I'm going to just go on about that for a while. The original Underdog was Cook's Ducati that won Daytona, and that word is stuck in my mind as just this bike is kind of an underdog. It's a bike that for under $9,000, I don't think you can buy a bike with more performance. Or in some cases, if you do a little restyling on this, it might even be one of the more attractive bikes. I was not happy with it when it was stock. I wanted to add some things to it and do a little painting. And before I ever go out on the road, I always like to take care of the farm. This is Karen's passion. And thank you to everybody who has sent in nice comments about her garden. We're eating out of the garden virtually every day now. Lettuce, zucchini, squash. We're going to have tomatoes soon. And Karen's passion, of course, is cooking. And the tomatoes are coming around, but they're not ripe yet. But I like to take care of the farm, and then I always say to myself, well, now I have the rest of the day to explore out on the open road or stop at Lincoln Park Airport and see the electric airplanes or whatever. But I got a little surprise for the end of this video, too. Something that you might think is quirky. I think it's kind of cool, though. It's on the end of the video. And lastly, don't forget to feed the birds. Now, one of the nice features about Mr. Underdog here is having the traction control and having a good set of Michelin tires that seem to work pretty well on these wet roads. The roads were wet and dry and very unpredictable. Traction control, always helpful. Now, it was only a small part of this ride that it was raining, but the roads were more wet than they were dry, and about an hour into it, I was thinking, oh my God, am I going to have fun cleaning the bike when I get home? And I was right. So again, about the Underdog feature of this bike, the thing I think is true. If you have a budget of under $9,000 and you go shopping for a brand new bike, not a used bike, and you want to have features like ABS, traction control, and ride modes and whatever, and 118 horsepower to boot, I don't think there's a lot of bikes under $9,000 even right now that compete with it. And the worst thing of all is to have an overdog, something that you pay a lot more money for, and somewhere down the road you're disappointed, or you think, oh, maybe I didn't get my money's worth or something. But this bike, being an Underdog, is exactly the opposite. When you have a bike that's relatively inexpensive and you don't expect a lot from it, and then it exceeds your wildest dream in every way possible, that's a good definition of an Underdog, a really good one. Now, I don't ride in rain mode that often because I don't go out in the rain that much, but it works real well and it softens up the throttle to where you don't spin the back tire when it's in a lower gear. It's a real nice feature of this bike, having that rain. And when I got up by Facing Lakes, the problem, of course, is the GoPro I use, I don't use it in a waterproof that cover, so I tend to just put the plastic bag around it, get through the rain, and try not to use the GoPro camera when it's raining. So I missed some of the riding that we had in this video. And worth mentioning, the ABS on this bike has saved my bacon a few times, and it's done it on dry roads as well as wet roads. But on a day like today, just knowing you have it, if a deer runs out or a turtle walks across the road or who knows what, and from time to time, one of these wild turkeys that live in this area will just be crossing the street or something. The ABS on this bike is one of the features worth its weight in gold. Now, I knew when I bought the bike it was a total naked bike. It didn't have any of the features that I really wanted to add to it, so I did my own custom touches. And to be honest, it took about 2 years, and it was a lot more work than I thought it would be in the beginning, doing all the paint work and all the carbon fiber. But at the end right now, and I'm coming up on 3 years of ownership of the bike, I really have it, I think, to the point where I'm going to keep it that way forever. Now, as I go through some of the populated areas too, I'm always thankful. I'm very happy. The exhaust system on this bike is not annoyingly loud, and it's got that tuned for the great low-end torque. And as this day wore on, it was pretty obvious it was not going to become a bright sunny day with good traction on dry roads. But I did get a ride, and to me, that's what's important. And another feature that makes this bike so much fun to ride, having that Valentine radar detector and knowing where the bogeys are. That's such a comforting thing. And it allows you to the enjoyment you have with a bike is you're not always looking over your shoulder or looking in the mirror. You let the Valentine do all the work, and you have all the fun. Now, on the way back home, and this is in Rutherford, just before I gassed up the bike and everything, I have shown this before, but I think this is pretty cool stuff. This guy that has this house in Rutherford is a world-renowned artist. I'm not sure what that is. Karen and I call it the gargoyle, but it shows you with motorcycles and with artwork. Art and motorcycles, a lot of it is in the eye of the beholder. And whether you have an Underdog, an Overdog, or whatever, if you have something that you think is cool, then it's probably pretty cool. I'm sure this artist is very proud of his work, and I'm proud of my MT09. Turned out to be an eclectic day. We had about 10 minutes of rain. The roads were wet for good part of the ride, and then the roads were dry. The sun came out, and then it rained again. But every day is a good day. Every day you can get out on a motorcycle, get some exercise, some fresh air, maybe even a little rain. Well, I treasure every one of them, and I try, this time of year especially, never to miss a day I can ride. Now for me, a motorcycle has a lot more advantages than doing other types of exercise. It really gives you, and I think it does anyway, a full body workout if you ride aggressively and you ride every day. Or even better if you ride a dirt bike, which I'm not able to do anymore at coming up on 78 years old. But anyway, I do get to ride these bikes in my collection. And if you're new to the world of windy videos and you enjoyed this video, there's 3,000 of them out there. You can just type up any subject from carbon fiber, painting wheels, painting motorcycles, repairing gas tanks, welding, whatever. There's always something out there. And I try to share the information. We do question and answer videos on this channel. If you have a question, ask it in the comments section. I'll try to answer it. If you want to share pictures of your motorcycle or your project, send them into fzrguy72618@gmail.com. And I will try to answer it to the best of my ability or share the pictures. Anyway, we enjoy our MT09. It was a birthday present from Karen. I have enjoyed every ride and every minute of owning it. And thanks so much for watching.